So this is the forecast for the upcoming week. We see the moon is in Aries, about to move into Taurus around midday. This is at 1 p.m. Pacific time. The moon up here in Kritika Nakshatra. The moon is exalted actually in Kritika when it moves into Taurus, and so the moon will be exalted on Monday night and then Tuesday and Wednesday. So you see this moon-Jupiter conjunction, moon at the end of Aries, still very close to Jupiter, having just passed over Jupiter over the weekend, has this quality of, sort of fiery intensity, at least halfway through Monday, and a very sort of passionate nature, and one that's really given to learning and growth and optimism and things like that. And then the moon goes into Taurus on Monday night, but it's in the nakshatra of Kritika pretty much for the day. So Kritika is ruled by the god Agni, and the deity is the sun. Agni is the god of fire, so it's very fiery, this nakshatra, and it's where the moon is exalted because literally the word Kritika means the cutter, and it's where we cut through the emotional attachments and all of the stuff that becomes gathered by the moon. The moon is the mind and the manas and the emotional state that gathers a lot of attachments. The moon is really the agency of our attachments and what we become attached to in order to feel alive and connected here on Earth. The term attachment is often used negatively, but we need attachments, and even great teachers say you need to develop healthy attachments because we want to be attached and we need to be attached to something, otherwise we won't be alive. So the moon is what generates our attachments, and there's nothing wrong with attachments. We need them, but the reason it's exalted in Kritika is because it's ruled by the god Agni, which is fire, purification, clarity, light, which if you have the right amount of fuel in the fire, then the fire creates light. If you have the wrong kind of fuel, or you have too much material on the fire, then it creates smoke. Like if you have a fire and you just throw a bunch of logs on it, what's going to happen is it's just going to create a lot of smoke. You have to have a mixture between fuel and flame in order to have a fire that is clear and that illuminates, doesn't just obscure or choke you with smoke. And so this is the nature of the moon and why it's exalted in Kritika Nakshatra, where Aries turns into Taurus. Now Monday is ruled by the moon, and it's so Mondays are often quite emotional, and it's also, as I say, moving from Aries into Taurus. So the moon was in Aries over the weekend, very, as I say, fiery and dynamic, potentially aggressive and hostile even. Then it moves into Taurus halfway through Monday. Taurus is where the moon's exalted because it's the solid fixed earth underneath our emotional state. And again, the moon generates the emotions, but the emotions aren't foundational to the moon any more than waves are foundational to water. It might seem like waves are foundational to water, but waves are actually causal. If there's nothing moving the water will be still. That's its true state. Its true state is a state of rest. Unless acted upon by another element or another force, water will be still. That's its rested state. Unlike fire, which is dynamic. Air, which is dynamic. Air is never really at rest. The nature of air is movement. The nature of fire is movement. Once you have fire, there's movement. There's no way to avoid it. But water, its natural state is rest, unless acted upon by something else. Just like Earth, its natural state is rest. That's why the moon is exalted in Taurus and does really well in Taurus, because it sits on the fixed Earth, where there's less to disturb it. Now, of course, we have the air that blows over the water, which is the fire, which is the thoughts that generate waves, and also fire, which acts upon water and creates ambition and action and passion and desire, which also brings emotion and waves. But the moon's exalted in Taurus because it's where it's the most solid and fixed. So Monday evening and then Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon will be exalted in Taurus. So